Twins vanish overnight, return with eyes that glow. Doctor calls for immediate investigation. Before we start the story, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, like and click the bell icon to get notified. With that out the way, let's get on with the story. The quiet town of Willow Creek, where life moved as gently as the creek it was named after, the Parker family lived a life of simple routines and quiet joys. The town was a place where everyone knew everyone, where the days were marked by the rising and setting of the sun, and where the nights were filled with the soft rustling of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. It was a town untouched by the chaos of the outside world, a place where nothing ever happened, until it did. Claire Parker, with her hair tied back in a practical bun, spent her evenings in the kitchen, the rhythmic clink of dishes mingling with the soft hum of the evening news on the radio. The news was mundane, tales of local politics and weather forecasts, but it was the routine that mattered. In the living room, David Parker, a man of quiet strength, his hands rough from years of carpentry but gentle in their touch, watched the sports scores on the television, his eyes occasionally drifting to the clock, marking time, until he could join his family upstairs. Upstairs, the laughter of Ava and Ethan Parker, twins with matching dimples and eyes that sparkled with mischief, filled their cozy bedroom. Their bedtime routine was sacred pajamas, brushing teeth, and the final chapter of The Adventures of Captain Cosmos, a book that promised them adventures beyond the confines of their sleepy town. The twins were inseparable, their bond unbreakable, their imaginations boundless. They dreamed of distant galaxies and alien worlds, of heroes and villains, of adventures that would take them far beyond the borders of Willow Creek. "Good night, my stars," Claire whispered, her voice a lullaby, as she kissed each on the forehead. Their laughter, clear and bright, mingled with the night's silence as she closed the door behind her. David checked the locks one last time, not out of fear but as a ritual of love, ensuring his family was safe in their sanctuary. The house settled into the quiet of night, the creaks and whispers of an old home speaking in hushed tones. The Parkers slept soundly, unaware that their lives were about to change forever, but that night was unlike any other. Morning came with the usual routine, but when Claire went to wake the twins, she found their beds empty, the sheets barely disturbed, as if they had never been there at all. Panic, cold and alien, invaded the warmth of their home. David, his voice breaking from calling their names, searched every corner, every hidden space. The house, once filled with laughter and love, now felt hollow, empty, a shell of what it once was. The police were summoned, and Willow Creek, usually a place of tranquility, became a hive of activity. Officers, neighbors, and volunteers scoured every inch of the town, the woods with their secrets, the parks with their open spaces, even the old, abandoned factories at the edge of town. Flyers with Ava and Ethan's faces, captured in moments of joy, were plastered on every corner, every lamppost, a silent plea for their return. Days stretched into a relentless blur of searching, praying, and hoping against the gnawing fear that whispered of the worst. Claire and David, their lives now an endless loop of worrying, barely ate or slept, their existence reduced to the singular purpose of finding their children. The town rallied around them, offering support and comfort, but nothing could ease the ache in their hearts. On the 10th day, as dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of hope and despair, Henry, the town's benign hermit, a man whose life was marked by solitude and the simple pursuit of daily survival, wandered. Henry was a man of few words, a man who preferred the company of nature to that of people. He spent his days in the woods, foraging for food and tending to his small garden. He was a man who noticed things, who saw what others overlooked. This morning, under the shadow of an old, abandoned bus stop, Henry stumbled upon something he least expected: two children, sleeping as if in an enchanted slumber, and touched by the elements. Ava and Ethan were there, their clothes as pristine as the day they vanished, no sign of the 10 days gone. But it was their eyes that halted Henry's breath. Ava's, once a comforting hazel, now glowed with a violet luminescence, pulsing like a heart in the dark. Ethan's eyes, once a deep brown, now shimmered gold, as if they held flames within. Henry, understanding the gravity of this discovery, gently woke them and led them to the police station, his mind racing with questions and fears. The twins were calm, too calm, their demeanor serene, as if they had just woken from a peaceful dream. They followed Henry without protest, their movements fluid, almost otherworldly. The call from the police was like a thunderclap in the calm after a storm for Claire and David. They rushed to the station, hearts pounding with a mix of joy and terror. Seeing Ava and Ethan, they collapsed into relief, tears of joy mingling with laughter, embracing their children, feeling their warmth, their reality. But the reunion was tinged with an unsettling feeling. The twins were different. Their voices carried a melodic, almost otherworldly quality. Their skin was too perfect, as if never touched by the sun or wind. And their eyes, those luminous, unnatural eyes, seemed to see beyond the physical, into places one could not name. "Where have you been?" Claire asked, her voice a mix of hope and dread. "We don't remember," they replied in unison, their voices harmonizing in a way that sent chills down the spine, like a choir of echoes. The return home was supposed to mark the end of the nightmare, but instead, it was the beginning of a new, mysterious chapter. The media, hungry for a story of miracles and mysteries, descended upon Willow Creek. Headlines screamed about the twins' miraculous return, but beneath the surface, questions lingered. Life in the Parker household took on an eerie new routine. The twins no longer slept, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark, casting shadows that danced on the walls like silent performers. Electronics malfunctioned around them, televisions flickered, lights dimmed or surged as they passed. Claire often heard whispers, elusive, like secrets whispered among the trees, but when she strained to hear, they vanished into silence. David tried to rationalize it, to bring some sense of normalcy back into their lives. "It's just the shock, the trauma," he'd say, his tone more hopeful than certain. But the signs were too evident to ignore. One night, Claire found Ethan by the window, his gaze piercing the night sky. "Something's coming," he said, his voice a whisper that carried more than just words, "and we're ready now." The realization that their children were no longer just their children was slow, painful. Claire and David watched Ava and Ethan with a mix of love and fear, understanding that they had been touched by something beyond human comprehension. The police, initially content with the twins' return, couldn't ignore the peculiarities. Detective Linda Martinez, who had been at the forefront of the search, now found herself in the midst of an investigation that veered into the surreal. She interviewed the twins, her seasoned instincts clashing with the bizarre. Their answers were vague, their demeanor calm yet distant, as if part of them was still elsewhere. She delved into Henry's background, finding a man who had retreated from society into a life of quiet observation. His testimony was simple, the shock of finding the children as authentic as the dirt on his clothes. The town was abuzz with speculation. Some whispered of curses, others of blessings or divine interventions. The local pastor spoke of miracles, while skeptics debated about experiments, perhaps even government conspiracies. As months passed, the changes in Ava and Ethan became more pronounced. They could manipulate small objects with their minds, a fact they learned by accident one afternoon when a toy car moved without touch. They were cautious, discussing their new abilities in hushed tones, unsure of their implications or origins. Claire and David, once in denial, now faced the reality head-on. They sought out specialists, psychologists, even paranormal researchers, but each consultation left them with more questions than answers. One evening, as they sat in the living room, the air thick with unspoken fears, Ethan casually mentioned, "We were taken by them." "Them," Claire echoed, her heart skipping a beat. "The ones from the sky," Ava added, her voice ethereal, her eyes reflecting stars that weren't visible through the ceiling. This revelation led to a sleepless night, filled with theories and fears. The next day, they decided to confront this new reality. They started documenting every anomaly, every instance of what they could only describe as otherness. Their investigation led them to an old, forgotten observatory on the outskirts of town, where the sky had once been the subject of intense study. Inside, they found diaries of an astronomer who had recorded strange phenomena in the sky around the time of the twins' disappearance. These entries described lights, silent ships, beings that seemed made of energy and light rather than flesh. It was a diary of either madness or revelation, depending on one's perspective. As autumn turned into winter, the signs from the sky became more frequent. The stars seemed to watch, brighter and more numerous than ever. On one such night, with the air crisp with the promise of frost, the Parker family gathered in their backyard. The twins stood, hand in hand, their eyes not just glowing but illuminating the yard as if it were day. "They're coming back," Ava said, her voice a melody of acceptance. "We need to be ready," Ethan added, his golden eyes scanning the heavens. That night, the sky opened not with rain but with light. Ships, silent and swift, descended, not in invasion but in observation or perhaps reunion. The twins stepped forward, their forms blurring, shifting as if they were part of the light from above. Claire and David watched, their emotions a whirlwind of fear, love, and awe. They knew then that their children were part of something vast, something beyond human understanding. The ships left as quietly as they came, leaving behind a changed world for the Parkers. Ava and Ethan's eyes returned to their natural colors, their abilities subdued but not extinguished. They were still their children, yet forever altered by their journey among the stars. The town of Willow Creek would never fully understand or forget this event. The Parkers became guardians of a secret, a bridge between the human and the cosmic. They learned to live with the extraordinary, finding peace in the knowledge that their children were part of something greater, something that perhaps watched over them from the sky they gazed at every night. And so, life went on, with the stars a little closer, the night a little less dark, and the Parker family forever changed, under a sky that whispered of endless possibilities. In the aftermath, the town of Willow Creek slowly returned to its rhythms, but the Parkers lived with a new awareness. The twins, though outwardly normal, carried within them the echoes of their cosmic journey. They were more contemplative, often found gazing at the sky, their eyes occasionally reflecting a depth that spoke of worlds beyond. Claire and David adapted to this new reality, their love for their children undiminished but now tinged with awe for what they had become. They began to educate themselves on the cosmos, on theories of extraterrestrial life, and on the history of unexplained phenomena, hoping to understand, or at least coexist with the unknown. The twins, for their part, showed a newfound interest in science, particularly astronomy and physics. They would spend hours in the local library, reading up on everything from quantum mechanics to astrophysics. Their teachers noticed this change, their grades improving, their questions becoming more profound, often leaving even the educators puzzled. One clear night, months after the return, the sky again lit up, but this time with a gentle, welcoming light. The twins, sensing something, led their parents outside. There, in the sky, was a single, bright object that hovered before disappearing back into the stars. No ships landed, but a feeling of connection, of being watched over, lingered. The twins explained that they felt a presence, not threatening but protective, as if they had guardians in the sky. This silent acknowledgement from the heavens became a regular occurrence, a reminder of their unique connection. Willow Creek, once a place of simple lives and simple problems, now had to grapple with the extraordinary. The community's response varied from fascination to fear. A small group formed, calling themselves the Watchers, dedicated to observing the sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of what the twins had experienced. Local businesses began to see an uptick in tourism, with people coming from all over to learn about the miracle of Willow Creek. Some saw it as a boon. Others worried about the town's peace being disturbed. Claire and David, with the help of the twins, started holding community meetings, sharing what they knew and what they believed. They spoke of unity, of the need to embrace the unknown rather than fear it. These meetings became a new form of therapy for the town, a way to heal from the shock and to look forward to what could be. Ava and Ethan, now seen as local heroes or curiosities, took this in stride. They began teaching children in the town about the stars, about the universe's vastness, instilling a sense of wonder rather than fear. Years passed, and the twins grew into adulthood, their connection to the cosmos never fading. They became scientists, working in fields related to space exploration and quantum theory. Their research often hinted at their unique experiences, leading to breakthroughs that baffled and amazed the scientific community. Willow Creek became known not just for the mysterious disappearance and return of the Parker twins but as a place where the extraordinary was part of everyday life. The town's observatory, once forgotten, was revitalized, becoming a center for learning and observation. As Claire and David grew older, they watched their children navigate a world they had once feared, now with understanding and purpose. The twins, though they never fully explained their time away, lived lives that were a testament to the possibilities that lay beyond the stars. And on the nights when the sky was particularly clear, the whole family would gather, looking up, feeling the silent companionship of whatever was out there. Their story, one of loss, return, and transformation, became a legend in Willow Creek, a tale of human resilience and the vast, mysterious universe that embraced them. The stars, once just specks in the night sky, now felt like old friends, watching over Willow Creek, whispering of infinite possibilities, and the Parker family, forever changed, lived under their light, in peace with the unknown.